Broadcasting live from God knows where. It's Carrie Palmer, and I am no longer who I was when I lived in Mount Shasta. And I met a woman in this town who wrote a book a while ago. And I met another woman that night. It was a wild parallel universe night. I'll get to that. But I had to meet her, and I didn't know why until now. Big topic. I hope you stay. It's a big topic. I hope you hang in there. Okay. If you look at your world, and I'm going to close my eyes because I encourage you to do the same. Look at your world, look at the world around you, and see the different players in the world. There are two kinds of people, and I clearly see the divide. There are those of us who have our heart, we come from love, and we would do anything to help anyone. We would not give them money because we know that doesn't help them. We would scrape their dead cat off the road. We would do anything that we could normally not do to help another human because that's just human kindness. That's just human nature. That's the people who live in heaven on this planet. They would, when I was doing the remote, the wrapping up the holidays in these fundraisers with Mix 96 for years, the home the homeless people would come up and find that crinkled dollar bill in their pocket. And they would say, here, they would give me their last dollar. But then there's the people who can step over dogs without petting them, can separate mothers and children because they're not the right race. They don't have a heart. They don't come from the same space the heart people do. It's practicality. It's, oh, they don't fit in with these kind. It's what it is. And if you really look at it and break it down, it's those in the money world who require it and those of us who don't. So my meeting this woman was huge, but I didn't know why until I got done filming my documentary. And in the bathtub yesterday, I wrote, oh, so many notes, so many notes. I have so many notes, but I wasn't supposed to make the video yesterday. Oh, I had a lot going on yesterday. So I'm making it today and I will send it to her and I hope it helps her. I believe it will. So separate us into these two people: money, love. In the world of money, all players are a utility. I was a utility in a marriage and a family that was about money. When you no longer serve your purpose, you're gone and you just get a new one. It's just, they're just people. They're all, but the people with the money are you keep everybody's holding on tight to that chain, that gold chain with the marble, because it's the money that matters and you need to protect the money at all costs. And the rest is riffraff. Just don't, kick the riffraff off. Kick the riffraff off because you don't need them. They're a detriment. You do not want them. Those of us who come from love, we tend to give everything away because we know we don't need it as bad as somebody else does. I don't know why I bother putting makeup on. Taking me back to my childhood, I knew who I was. Um, Beaten, tortured, all the fun stuff. But I remember with daddy number two, I took a pencil and I wrote the word shit on the wall of our trailer. Small, hidden. It was harmless. My sister was getting away with everything, so I just felt I was the youngest. So I wrote it and then Jean found it. I couldn't own up to it because I had to witness what Donna did and how she had to own up to it. So he brought us all in the bedroom, stripped us all down, and beat us with the belt, as it was always, until somebody would admit they did it. And it was always Donna. So he just assumed it was her. So he freed me and Lynn and let us go. So, yes, that was something that I did that got Donna beaten for 5 more minutes. No, not even that. They closed the door, and our mom showed us later how you do the belt trick to make it sound like they're getting beaten more. But I did carry that guilt because I have a good heart. I would never hurt anybody. I didn't mean to hurt anybody by writing shit on the wall. I didn't think someone would be beaten over it. But I carried that, but not for long because my life was so bad. We had plenty to carry. So the point I'm getting to here is we have the people who have our hearts like we do, the people who come from love, who would stop and rescue any animal, anything. We come from love. And then we have different levels of what my sister and I had to go through. She got beat more than I did because I wouldn't do stuff. I just was a zombie. Fast forward this, we became different levels because Donna got good at being bad. She got really good at stealing because we had to for survival, and I couldn't do it. Like I tried. I had this tube of lipstick in my pant pocket. I was going into third grade, and I had to walk out of the store with this and return it to my stepsister, or I'd have been beaten. I had it and I got it in my pants. But by the time I got to the exit to the store, which was in the Boulevard Mall, it's Macy's now. I don't know what it was. The Broadway, I think. It was out of my pants and I just kicked it. I didn't care. I, Carrie, could not carry through with this thing that was not okay. It wasn't okay. It was like I couldn't take something that wasn't mine. But my sister did it, and then she started to benefit from it. She got paid for it, and it became a lifestyle for her. But I know she came from love. We came from hell, but I know she came from love. So, those of us who come from love, we tend to give away our kidney before we would take something from somebody. But we have this world of people who have money and we're just utilities, and it's like money and the cluster and the corporation, the clan, whatever, it's all that matters. When you come from love, you know you're doing the right thing. What I've learned in my work is you need to take this down another level. We all ultimately come from love. We do. We just were in a story that we're stuck in and we just don't know the difference. But what we've been taught to do more than anything is that guy that left you, that abandoned you and your children, and now there you are stuck and you're alone and you're lost, and so all your lives are screwed forever. No, they did you a favor by leaving. It's the language. I've gone through this, but change your language. You're not abandoned. You've been given opportunity. When I was really young, I had this vintage silver dollar, and I was with my roommate Leanne and our neighbor Pat with his family. And I remember showing Pat, this cool dollar that I knew would be worth a lot of money someday. And he stole it. Oh, I remember I was so angry. I wanted to get even with him. It was like, you. And I'm sure he probably cashed it in for nothing and bought something stupid. He was a young guy, a young kid. So here's the deal. These things, they happen to us. I was held out of a helicopter between 2 and 3 by daddy number 2, who was drunk off of his ass. Thank God he wasn't the pilot. He and the pilot were laughing. They thought it was quite funny as I was sitting there being hung over Hoover Dam, and they pretended to drop me. So here's just the example I want you to take from that. I was held out of a helicopter as part of my abusive childhood. There was 9,524 components you can choose from. That was one of them. If I picked any one of those things that they did to us, that he did to me, as that thing that destroys my life, who's that on? He did it, and off he went. He's not thinking about it. He did it to me, but no part of what he did to me or to our mother or daddy number 4 to our mother in front of me, no part of that should a child experience, but I did. And guess what? It happened. I got over it. I moved beyond it. So we have these things that happen to us all the time. And this is where I speak to most of you because you hold on to this crap. You hold on to it. He did it, they did it, you did it. You want to show me your scars. You want to say who did what. And I say it happened, get over it. Anything you want to carry forward of this is bullshit. It happened. Carry it forward if you want. Go lay in a bed and cry and whine and drink and take pills and watch housewife shows and feel really sorry for yourself. Or think, okay, it happened. What did I learn from it? Move on. So here's where I need to flip the coin for you, Karen. And this didn't really come through until yesterday's bath. I met Karen on a night when I would experience what happened to her when she had to write her book. I didn't know what was going on. And here's how it unfolded. It was just another night in this new place where I'm interviewing. And I love Mexican food, so you can frequently find me in a Mexican restaurant. I went to this particular restaurant. There was two girls way over there, and I sat at the bar there and I said, "What's good?" And they were asking something about a taco special, and they said four tacos for $10. I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good." And I said, "Is it happy hour?" And they said, "No, it's Taco Tuesday." And I'm like, "Oh, it's Tuesday?" I never know. So I got my little tacos and I got a margarita, and it was just us. I'm sitting there enjoying my thing. I believe I had a Ascended Zen Master t-shirt on or Life in 5D shirt. I don't know. I just throw them on. You know, it's random. It's just clothes that I dare to wear. And I was in my world. And this girl, I know she didn't work often, so we chatted a little, but I could hear her telling somebody how, yeah, she's not there often. She doesn't work all the time there. And then the next thing I knew, there was people here, people there, people here. It was as if the concert let out and I was suddenly in the party hall. I was surrounded by humans. And then I was eating my tacos as they're all doing their thing around me because I do not participate or subscribe. I stay in my world. I don't look around like, hi, want to bring me in? Ever, ever. So as I'm there doing my thing, I just remember somebody over there said, "What does your shirt say?" And I pulled it open so I don't have to stare at my boobs to show what my shirt said. And that was the last thing that I remember. I hadn't even begun to finish my margarita. And I had a couple there, couple there, couple there. I don't even know what was around me. But suddenly I was in the midst of all of these people, I guess. And there was a lot of conversation. And then the next thing I remember was I'm talking to Diana, who's this adorable tiny thing, and I'm small. She's smaller than me. And she's got dark hair and she's going to Mexico. So we I get her information. Somehow we connect. We need to touch base because she wants to be in touch when she comes back. And all I remember is the number 12. I felt like 12 people. And then Karen, I believe she was tall and blonde, and she it comes back full circle to her, and we're chit-chatting, and she asks if I have something to write on, and I give her one of my cards, and she writes down some information, and I put it like with all the other stuff, and I think I hugged those two, and I left. That's all I remember. It was a whirlwind. About a week ago, I was back there, and the girl was there that waited on me, and she said, "Do you want another margarita?" And I'm like, I don't know, because I normally drink wine. And she brought up that night, she said, "That was so wild how this group just encompassed you and you just got dissolved into this puddle of people." And I'm like, "Thank you." Because I can't remember anything other than the beginning and the end and Diana and Karen and getting the numbers and leaving. Fast forward, I found the card later and what she wrote on it, and she wrote her name, address, and a book title and a number. phone number. And I remember talking to my friend in Mount Shasta, mentioning this to her because I'm not going to go look up somebody. I am only forward. And this research assistant clearly went to work because she came back later and said, "Oh my God, do you know what this book is about?" And she told me what this book is about. And this woman, Karen, wrote a book about having a drink one night, and that was it. Just one. She was there. And then the world that she knew when she woke up on the other side of saying goodbye to Diana and Karen, everything in her world was gone, shattered upside down. I have a lot of notes that I had to write down about this, so I'm going to use them because this was really big in the unpouring of this story. Well, what this is about, more than even me getting to this, is I met with them and I left and I remember nothing. I remember that as a young person doing that, but being drunk. I was placed, no, here it is. This is for you, Karen. We come into our world to live out stories, to learn lessons, to work through and move through throughout the course of this particular lifetime. So we can come out on the other side and say, oh my God, I learned the lesson, and then step into the next story. This particular beautiful soul came into this world on the heart side, the compassion side. And so she had this story that she agreed to do in this lifetime. But having the heart and soul that she does, she couldn't do the icky work that it took, such as getting drunk or doing something stupid in order to fulfill her life contract. So it had to happen for her for her to have the experience to be able to live it, write a book about it, and blame herself for most of her life. And this is the whole thing. Here's the heart people, and here's the rich people who treat people like me and you were disposable. The Hispanic woman and her child, they're disposable, throw them apart. They're just like we're just disposable parts of Mr. Potato Head. Those of us with a heart will never do that. We can't because love is all there is. And so we agreed to do these tasks before we were born, and Karen could not fulfill her agreement in her heart-filled position. So they had to put her in a season to where she was not there. So the story still had to happen. The consequence still had to exist, and she comes out of it on the other side as the human she needs to be. She had to run into me because what Karen is doing is what you are all doing. Those of us with the big heart, those of us with the big heart that at one time, maybe you had to put out something poisonous for the rodent because it was actually going to drive you crazy. You would give your own life rather than hurt a fly or a cat or a human. That's what those of us with a big heart are all about. We come from love. We give the shirt off our back, and I've done it time and time again. We can't hurt anything. We can't, we won't, and we would give you everything. But it's those that see the rest of us as disposable. These are the people we don't want in our world moving forward. I am happy if we separate into two continents and they get to go float away on theirs with, they can have all the ivory, all the beautiful things that cost the most money, and they can float away with it. And those of us can start with nothing because we know how. We don't need the money. Okay, so some of these notes. The title of this, Releasing the Perp Off the Hook. And this is where this came from. I have always been a good soul, and I will go to my grave with that. And anybody who's met me knows I am. I was married to someone who wasn't. He's all about money and position and power. We played a good game while the game was playing, and then it was time to be done. I was still in the house, and he's like, "Well, if you're not going to sleep with me, I know, we love each other, which nobody knows what love is. I have to find someplace to put my man wing." All he needed, he wanted me to be his friend, but he needed a place to park his man wing. I'm like, "Can't we just be friends?" If it was cancer, he would have done the same thing, and he knows he would have. So because I wouldn't have sex with him because I wasn't allowed to be who I am, I had to shut this part down. Hell no, I'm not going to spread my legs. So he drove to North Bend just to use his man wing to a woman who they had one thing in common. They both like sunshine. They're still together. They like sunshine. He likes everything, but he just needs a man wing place. So this man is driving up north while I'm in our family home in the other room, and it's like he drives up, comes back freshly sexed, and it's just the ickiest, weirdest thing I've ever known. I really wish I knew what his friends thought about this because their wives are going like, "Are you going to do this too?" It absolutely boggles my mind that this is okay with you people in that universe. So this guy, he goes up north, pokes her a few times, comes back, and then he's like, "Oh, got any food?" So I won't even speak to him. He's just ickiness. I'm in the master living room and he's in the family room with his gum, two phones, and television, MSNBC. That's the every fucking day routine. And I'm just in there seething, like, how did I get stuck with such a jerk? And I was writing a letter to John Foster, my program director at Mix 96, one of the dearest friends of my life. And I was writing my goodbye letter because I had to leave the station and move on with this journey. And it was dark. I was in the dark and I had my computer sat down. I met Alden in May of that year. And this was, I believe, July. I don't remember. No, it was later. I knew the last thing Alden had to do before he died, which I found out much later, was meet me from Seattle. And by doing that, it cleaned my pipes, opened me out to up to source, and then he would help me write. He would help me with a lot, but I had no examples of this at this point. So John's in that room. I'm sitting on my in my recliner in the dark, and then I pick up my computer and I open it to a new document. These fingertips literally start flying across the keyboard at least 150 words per minute with zero errors. If you've seen me type, that's not how I type. And I'm crying because I'm reading what's coming out because it didn't come from me. And it's in my books. I'm not going to find it now, but what it said was he is being the biggest dick he can possibly be to remind you, you've got to get the hell out of here. He is doing it and you're still there. He's an asshole. His only thing is money. He doesn't care about the human or the dog or the cat, but he's the spirit in him is trying to kick the human in me awake to where I finally leave. So after I've received this download, I'm bawling, and he's over there like not asking. He learned to not ask questions. After I was done, I said, "Meet me in the dining room." It's kind of like the middle room. I'm bawling, and he's sitting there all cocky, like, "Am I in trouble? Am I in trouble? Is she gonna kick my ass?" Oh, I always did. And I'm reading this to him, saying he is doing exactly what he needs to do. He will never get to where you are. He's a lost soul, but he is being this for me to be so that I finally do the work I need to do. So this is the work I do. He will never get to this elevated space because he's locked in his human self. And he's also one of the people that believes money is it. So he will never see through this lens. He's had enough experience with me to know that it's true, but he will never lean in. I had to let him off the hook for me to realize I had to move forward. So I had to release the perp. And the perp, people, is not the guy who did something to you. Karen, me with the shit on the wall. You did something because it was part of your life journey and you had to physically do that step, whether you wanted to or not. Now that it's done, there's so much more waiting for you on the other side of that step. You have got to let go of thinking you had anything to do with it. You and all of the players in that game, Donna, my stepdad, myself writing shit on the wall, we planned it. We wanted me to not fess up and Donna would take the blame and it Donna's whole life went that way. So Karen, you need to release it because none of this is real. None of it is. We came here to go through these processes and say, okay, it happened. I'm going to get over it. Shut that fucking door so you can allow what is next to come forward. That's the only reason you're here. Some final notes here from this thing I want to. Is this the event you will let destroy you? Is this the line in the sand? Is this the thing you're going to say, okay, I will die over this one and I'll finish this life, die, come back and think it's going to get any better? No, because you have to go through the same stories over and over again until you say, okay, it happened. I did it. They did. It doesn't matter who did it because, as you probably know, in every lifetime, you are the perp and you are the victim. You're the rapist. You're the receiver. You're the one robbing the bank. You're the bank. You're the one with the gun. You're the one with the bullet. You've done it all. It's just another lifetime. We must release each other. We can't hold each other hostage for anything we've done, especially ourselves. You can't hold yourself hostage for anything. I think what I'm going to close with is I've written quite a few books now. I'm talking multiple thousands of pages, and it's like it's all going to come out. But the second one I published is Man is Ruining His Own Nest. I highly recommend everybody read this. This was the prequel to The Bridge. It would have changed this last election had I been able to actually physically work on it, but couldn't do that. But go to Amazon and look at the sneak peek. This little girl from Las Vegas could not have imagined how to rewrite the Ten Commandments, but I do. And they make beautiful sense. It's about love. Not one thing here is about anything about grab all you can, take it with you, and leave everyone behind. It's all stuff. We are all floating up to ascend, but we cannot ascend if we're holding ourselves hostage to anything that we did that we can't forgive ourselves for. Don't you guys know all these prayers you've learned in church? Forgive your trespasses as you forgive those who trespassed against you. You got to come first. If you don't forgive you first, the only one that matters is you because the only bus you drive is yours. The only instruction manual anywhere is within you. No one around you has any content or information about what the soul that carries your bus is about. Give no one anything because you know your way. Forgive yourself, forgive those, release, surrender, shut up, and listen. When you think about this, here's you, here's them, here's them, here's them, here. Okay, all these people. And I did a meme about this earlier today that I had to do. It was about Shakespeare says all the world's a play, and we're all on stage playing a role in whose life? Whose life are you playing a role in? Are you a co-star to Larry's movie? Because I was the co-star to many movies until I thought, oh, wait, this is my fucking role. And I climbed to the middle of my stage and I took command. So you have to do this with your life. There is no director out there who's going to tell you where to move and how many steps to take because they are doing it from their lens. Only you can be the eyes, ears, nose, thought, heart, soul, container, content of the reason you are here. We hand it over to everybody else and what we think they think of us because we think that matters, but nothing does. Absolutely nothing matters. Not a fucking thing. Let it all go. Become who you are. And then step into your little Nemo wormhole. That's the only place you ever want to be. Just let it suck you and just off you go now. A couple of the nuggets I found that I know I have to talk about, whether I cover it now or whether I do it in writing. These people in your life, they innocently walk by. See, it's a beautiful, you're a guy, this beautiful woman walks by. Off she goes. You can't get her out of your mind. She's not in your story, but suddenly you've inserted her in yours. She's not in yours. Do you see what I'm saying? We all do this. We see people that we want to put in our story. We insert, we design these fairy tales. And guess what? No, we don't do that crap. We really don't. We don't want to do that. Okay, this is big. I guess it's worth remembering and keeping this piece. As humans, we are all born with a special gift. And mine is writing, speaking. I've been unfolded to become this on stage in front of people. You don't know what yours is until you get out there and find it. But you took it one step further, and we've created, instead of having people who are really good at their thing, and it's a combination of 9,000 things into one, you have created competition. So we need to find out who is the best at everything. We don't want anything mediocre. We only want to go till we find the best at every little thing. This is so freaking sad. If we all could just be allowed to not compete and just go be that thing that we are that's better than anybody else, but we can't because it's tied in with him and him and him and her. Yeah, we're so screwed up. The day I was held out of a helicopter. Okay, this is one of the biggest things that I think was uncovered during my documentary. People all have a story. They all have stuff that they are attached to. My earliest trauma was long before the helicopter day, but this was one that was like notable that all you can relate to. If you're 3 years old and you got a drunk dad driving you to the Hoover Dam already and you make it, and then you get in a helicopter held out and he's laughing, he's pretending to drop you, here's how it would go. We all would take this differently now. I know y'all, and I know y'all and y'all. You'd be like, oh, there's my freaking calling card. There is my, it happened to me when I was a kid. I can't ever fly. I can never do this because it happened to me. Why, why, why? Or you could become a helicopter pilot. I looked at it as it was just Thursday, but every other Thursday was a different trauma. But I knew it happened to me. I didn't ask for it. I didn't deserve it. It just was. It just was. Is it happening now? No. Is it hurting me now? No. It can't because I can't let it. I would never let it. I'm just present. We hear all this about mindfulness and presence. We should do it. And guess what? It's the only thing you should be doing. Being right here, right now, leaving your cluster, unhold the hands of the family around you because you're never going to go anywhere. You'll never get here. From there, there's not a rat's ass chance in hell.